welcome to the Double EP, featuring Brett Kelly's film My Fair Zombie, lead actors Lawrence Evanchick and Barry Cager. Our featured artist of the week, Beatboxer Fabian Paquette-Grimes. And of course, our lovely hosts, Denis de la Violette and Kitty Kamenyeki. And don't forget, our weekly contest. And now it's time for the Double EP.
And today on the Double EP, we're very pleased to welcome the stars of My Fair Zombie, a film directed by Ottawa's own Brett Kelly. So we have in the studio, we have Lawrence Evanchick and Barry Cager. Gentlemen, welcome to our show.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, to start off, you guys have worked together before My Fair Zombie. Where did you guys meet? How did you guys get working together to start off with?
I think the first time we worked together was at Orpheus, and
1987, Man of La Mancha. I was in the chorus, and Barry was
the barber.
the barber.
Yes.
Sancho. And we've performed a few times since then. Not a lot, actually.
No.
It's quite surprising. No. We're both very involved in the theatre community in Ottawa, so it's quite surprising that we haven't done more shows together. And it's a shame, because I do quite enjoy working with Barry.
Well, I wish I could say the same thing, but I can't. Yeah.
But then
he's
you'd
a
be
great guy.
copying me.
Good to work with. Good to work.
Excellent. All right, now, My Fair Zombie. Obviously, it's a takeoff on My Fair Lady, but tell us a little bit more about the movie itself.
It is a takeoff on My Fair Lady. Very well written, very cleverly written. Anybody who's familiar with My Fair Lady or with Pygmalion would know that Eliza Doolittle is a flower girl, and Professor Henry Higgins takes up a bet to turn her into a lady, to pass her off as a proper lady simply by changing her clothes and her manner of speech. And the same concept in the movie, except that Eliza's a zombie that we're trying to pass off as a proper lady.
Mm.
And then Colonel Pickering gets involved with this sort of fellow.
Yes.
Yes, it was quite interesting, actually.
Yes, because we take this zombie into our home to live with us. Yes. It's very difficult having a zombie in your home, you know. Yes.
How does that work out for you?
Well, feeding time at the zoo. Need I say more, really?
Now, how did the two of you end up getting involved in this? Did Brett hold auditions, or did he know you personally beforehand?
Yes, he held auditions, and we were wondering who was going to get the role of Henry Higgins. I got cast earlier on after an audition, and we couldn't find the right Higgins. And then later on, when Lawrence was available, he auditioned and, yes, was the perfect Higgins.
Thank you kindly, sir. Yes, I was tied up when they did the first round of auditions. I was tied up in a stage production. And then it came around again, and I thought, well, why not? We'll give this a shot. And I went in for the auditions, and reading opposite Barry and Sasha Gabriel. At the time, I didn't know that they had already been cast, but I had a good time at the audition, and I guess it worked. Brett is a wonderful director in Ottawa, and that he does audition everything that he shoots. He auditions first, even if he knows you and may have you in mind for a role. He still holds auditions for everything, and not a lot of the local filmmakers do that. A lot of them have their people that they work with and choose from amongst them rather than holding open auditions, and I think that's a big mistake. It limits their talent pool, and there are a lot of up-and-coming actors out there who won't get a chance to do anything because directors are just picking their friends to work on projects.
Well, the thing is, with Sasha, I mean, she had never performed really on stage before or in film before, and yet she's a natural.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And
she's perfect for the role. She does a wonderful job. Very, you wouldn't think that one could feel sympathy and for a zombie, but there are a couple of the songs that she does that your heart melts when you watch her, when you talk to her and hear what she's saying. It is very much a social commentary, Pygmalion and My Fair Lady, because it's a question of what makes us good people and where does your standing in society come from? Simply your appearance and the way that you speak. Or does it come from who you are inside? And can you change a person, who a person is, simply by changing their clothing and the way that they speak? And that's very much what George Bernard Shaw was on about when he wrote it.
Yeah. There's a real commentary.
So to do this with a zombie, then this message comes through even louder and clearer.
Exactly. There really is a person inside there, maybe.
Maybe.
No spoiler alerts.
Well, especially with Rain in Spain, that doesn't really come out very clearly for a little while.
But she
It's
does a good
usually
job.
on the brains
The brains. Yeah.
more than anything else.
Now I understand the two of you had great fun together on this set. You actually got to dance together. Tell us a little bit about how that all happened.
Who told you that?
Well,
Secret. You mustn't say that.
In the music for the movie was all written by a local composer, Stephen John Tippett, a friend of Sasha Gabriel's and a cohort in their band, My Tiny Circus, I think it's called. He wrote 5 original numbers for the movie. One of them is called Brains, which is my song, and there's a wonderful little music break in the composition, where there's no lyrics, it's just music, and we didn't know what to do with that on set, and we got to shoot the scene, and there's this bit of music, and Brett was scratching his head. He didn't know what to do with it, so I said, well, let's dance then, and there's a bit of a tango beat to it, and so Barry and I just sort of started dancing.
Well, let's get this
It was
straight. What
improv.
happened was this character comes running over to me and grabs me and goes, dance.
Yes.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And,
and you followed.
I'm
yes,
a good follower.
There you go. Now who led?
He did.
I led, yes, I led. And there were many, many takes.
So
we had a lot of fun, though.
You twirled Barry across the floor, did you?
No, there were no turns at all.
Oh.
We hit the end of the floor, turned, and came back, and then I did a solo from then on.
No doubt.
Yes. It was a lot of fun, though, and it's nice to work with a director who just allows you the freedom
That's
to just
right.
go and do whatever you want, and if it's called for.
For sure.
Yeah.
Now, being My Fair Lady is a bit of a period piece, and then you're also working with zombies. I'm assuming you guys had to work with a lot of very talented makeup artists and costume designers.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Do you want to? You field that one. I'm
No,
talking to you.
no, carry on, because you've got,
I've got
you've got it up there, sort of thing. You know.
I do. Cynthia Sanoy was the costume designer, and any of the costumes in the movie that had to end up with blood and gore on them were all designed and made from scratch, because we couldn't rent costumes or borrow costumes and then destroy them. There's one ball gown that Sasha wears that was all made by hand for the ballroom scene. It's gorgeous. There's a dress that she wears for the tea party, which was originally made for promotional purposes before the movie was even cast, and we did use that in the movie as well. It is a replica of the dress that Audrey Hepburn wears in the film My Fair Lady when they go to Ascot. And so the gown is an exact replica of that. It's a gorgeous piece of work. Cynthia was saying that a lot of times the costumes kind of spring to her out of one costume piece that she finds. She found this bearskin hat, like a big old tall bearskin hat at Canada Little Theatre when she was rummaging through, and from that created one of the zombies, John Miliore, who's in zombie movies all the time. This is his career. He does zombie movies. And he was actually interviewed on Q with Jean Gomeshi earlier this year. And the entire Cossack costume for that zombie was created just because of that one hat. My costumes were fairly easy to do, and I think
Mine were too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right down to the teddy bear that's almost 100 years
That's
old,
right.
named Egbert. And the makeup artist was Carrie Price, and she did a wonderful job as well.
Oh,
She
God, yes.
works on a lot of films in town. She does a lot of work for stage productions as well, notably with Orpheus Musical Theatre. I think she's done some Ottawa Little Theatre as
Yes,
well.
she has. Yeah.
So obviously a lot of blood and gore and guts and a lot of makeup work. Very difficult getting it exactly the same. Especially with Sasha, with zombies and dead people, if you're shooting from one day to the next, continuity, getting the makeup exactly the same every time you go to shoot is very difficult. Very, very tricky. was a lot of fun to watch that process.
Yes.
Very cool.
It's always interesting how someone like Brett Kelly can gather such a pool of talented people who are willing to give up of their time and their talent, and to make this such a success, and obviously such an enjoyable experience. So it takes a special kind of person to be able to attract that kind of talent, and obviously he seems to manage to do so at every turn. So
he does, and I think in this particular movie there were people who got involved simply because of the project. I mean, I had never met Brett before I did this movie, but the concept of doing a zombie version of My Fair Lady just kind of tickled me fancy, and I knew it would be a long time before I could play Henry Higgins on stage, so I decided to do it in a movie instead.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so My Fair Zombie premieres September 14th at Comicon in Montreal. So this is the world premiere, correct?
This is indeed the world premiere. You can get tickets for Comicon online at www.horrorfest.com is where you would get tickets for Comicon. They're $35 if you buy them online, $49 if you buy them at the door. The film will be shown at 4 o'clock in the afternoon at the Palais de Congrès, which is where Comic-Con takes place.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Cool.
Now, after Montreal, where does it go to next?
Well, it goes to Chicago, to the B Movie Festival.
Yes.
In Chicago, and that was October the 25th
to
27th.
Yes.
Yeah.
You corrected me on that earlier.
I know,
Fine.
and I couldn't remember it.
Whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, 25th to the 27th in Chicago. After that, we don't know. Brett is still hunting for a distributor, and hopefully through the festival circuit he will get a distributor for the movie, and it will end up on Netflix sometime in the near future. Who
That'd be
knows?
really
Well, that would be
fun.
great.
It
That
would
would be
be.
absolutely great.
It would be great.
Absolutely.
So, Lawrence, you are currently working on Johnny Ringo. Tell us about that.
Film with Brett Kelly again, entitled The Hunt for Johnny Ringo. It's a Western. Wonderful costumes again that were a lot of fun to put together. Horses and guns and shoot 'em up and hang people and all kinds of fun stuff. Very talented cast again. Some local actors, some from Toronto, and it will be distributed by Lionsgate. So there's already a distribution agreement in place.
Excellent.
A tight shoot schedule. We only have 6 days of shooting. Most Hollywood productions would take 3 months to shoot an 85-minute movie. We're doing it in 6 days.
Oh, wow.
6 days.
6
Wow.
days of shooting, yeah, including different locations. We were in Dockville in Newmarket. Newmarket?
Yeah.
No. Yes.
Yes,
Not
Newmarket.
Newmarket? No. Something like that.
Where
Outside
were
of
we?
Wherever it was.
Wherever it is.
Newcastle, Ontario. That's it. We were there at Dockville, which is an old western town, for quite a bit of the exterior shooting. We did all of the horse riding sequences last weekend in Shawville, Quebec, which was a lot of fun. And now we have a lot of campsite scenes to do, outdoorsy woods campsite, and some fight scenes to do still. So we have 3 days of shooting left for that.
Cool.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Barry, I understand after having a very busy season doing My Fair Zombie and a number of other projects, you're taking a well-deserved break, I understand.
Yes. My dear wife of 51 years
Congratulations. That's great.
decided I should take a sabbatical or something like that. So that's what's going to happen. But I would think that in the beginning of next year, I'll probably get myself something to do. Got to keep the little brain cells going.
Well, you
something like
you
that.
don't seem the type to sit at home on your hands for too long without
No.
getting involved in some kind of project.
That's right.
Excellent. Well, sometimes it's good to just relax and get away from it all and enjoy real life. And I'm sure your
Real
wife's...
life.
I don't know whether we ever do that, really. As stage performers, I think there's always the need to get out there and do more. Film is a bit of a departure for me. My Fair Zombie was the first film I've ever been in. But stage, there's a certain amount of gratification that you get from being on stage, from getting that audience response right away. And after being off stage for a while, you really kind of miss that and want to get back to it. There are always projects in the wings with such wonderful companies in town as Ottawa Little Theatre and Orpheus Musical Theatre Society. There's always projects to get involved in, and I don't think either of us really take too much of a break between them.
I have to mention Canada Theatre, or else they'll get a bit upset.
Yes, well, they'll get mad at you. I've
I
never
know,
done
I
anything
know,
with them
I
because
know,
they don't
yeah.
like me because I don't live in Canada.
Let me correct that. That used to be the case
Yes.
at one time, but now since Canada became part of Ottawa, everyone in Ottawa should feel free to come out and audition for Canada Theatre. So stop that, will you?
I'm just being silly.
Yeah,
They
I
did
know.
have a rule once upon a time.
Oh,
they,
they
did.
they have mended their ways.
Oh, I see. So,
Yeah.
so it'll take a special invitation to Mr. Evan Chick in order to get him to come down to audition for the Canada theater scene. Is that what it is?
That wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt.
Oh, I
Wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
That's right.
Box of chocolates or
Box
Yeah.
of chocolates,
Yeah.
bottle
Couple
of
of
scotch,
daisies.
whatever. You know.
If I may take this opportunity, there's one person I think we would like to mention, and that's Jürgen Vollrath.
Yes, absolutely.
He has been a big hero for the past number of shows. He's got a property out in the East End, a huge property, and we're always doing a lot of the outside work there. And he's a fantastic person. His wife's a lovely lady, and she puts up with all of this.
Does she ever?
So I think we have to.
And two lovely dogs.
Yes.
Duke, should we mention Duke?
Oh,
the
sure.
Vizsla. Duke is a wonderful doggy. Yeah, actually, and a lot of Johnny Ringo is being shot out at Jürgen's homestead, we call it as well. Great piece of property out near Limoges. And he invites us out there, and we have a good time shooting out there. He usually manages to he was in My Fair Zombie, plays the priest.
That's right.
Yes, in the tea party scene. He gets. No, I'm not going to say that.
No,
I'm not going to give anything away.
The other thing is too that the zombie scenes were all shot out there, and it's amazing.
The grave turned his forest into a graveyard for the zombie scene.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now we do have a prize.
We do, as our listening audience knows, and all of our viewers know as well. Every week we feature a contest, and what we like to do is we like to glean the question from our special guests, and in this case it is you, Lawrence Evanchik and Barry
word,
Cager.
glean.
Glean, yes, I read a book yesterday.
Yes. Is
so,
that Mr. Glean? Anything?
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we always ask our special guests to come up with a question or a challenge for our audience, to which they have to respond, and in turn, the person who gets chosen as the winner of the contest ends up with some fabulous prizes, usually offered by our special
Tell
guest.
us what our prizes are this week, Johnny.
Oh, come on down.
Our prize this week is the My Fair Zombie soundtrack. A nice little copy of that. It's got all of the songs from the movie, as well as Northern Frights, which is a DVD compilation of 3 of director Brett Kelly's earlier films. So what do our lovely listeners need to do to win this great prize?
Well, your lovely listeners have to send you a audio and or video copy of them singing a song as a zombie.
Oh,
Oh,
that
so
sounds
any song at all? Any song at all?
And it could
Any
be
song they
Happy
like.
Death Day to
Yes.
you, or
Yeah.
Like a virgin.
Canada. I don't know.
Something like that, but in the style of a zombie.
Of
As a
zombie.
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 That's
yes.
excellent.
That's
Hair
great.
and makeup optional.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so we're just looking for the
Fun.
vocal quality
Yeah, well, hey,
And
hair and makeup would be
originality, I
cool.
see.
Yeah,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
and the originality.
Makeup, open, festering sores would be kind of interesting. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, do it first thing in the morning when you roll out of bed, kind of thing. It's before the
Yeah.
powder comes on. It's a good thing.
Exactly.
So that's our contest for this week. We would like you to submit either an audio or a video excerpt of yourself singing any song at all in the style of a zombie. And what we'll do is, I believe Brett Kelly will be judging his favorite clip, and whoever he chooses will win this fabulous prize of the soundtrack for My Fair Zombie, as well as the Northern Frights, which is a collection of 3 of Brett Kelly's previous films. And you send your submissions to...
You can send your submissions to contest@mjmepics.com.
Now, we know that Brett Kelly is the director. The producer of My Fair Zombie is?
Is his wife, Anne-Marie Frigon, and quite honestly, she is Brett's right-hand person, and she's a fabulous mother too. So she's got 3 kids in the family actually,
my.
2 little ones and a bigger one.
And the big one that eats more.
That's right.
So apparently she, from what I've heard, she really is an important part of all of Brett's projects.
Yes, she is. She's been a producer from most of the projects, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, she's the one that keeps us in line on
Yes.
set, but she also keeps everything moving and on schedule, making sure that we get everything accomplished in the shoot day that we need to get accomplished.
Yeah.
And she looks after making sure that we get to eat and have coffee and tea and water and cookies. And all kinds of
So
fun
while
stuff.
Brett is off being creative, she makes sure that everything runs.
That's
She does
correct.
indeed.
smoothly.
Yes, she
Yeah.
does.
It's quite a nice combination to have.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today we had the pleasure of having the two stars from My Fair Zombie, Lawrence Evanchik and Barry Cager. Thank you so much for coming down today and spending some time with us and telling us all about this great film once again. My Fair Zombie, directed by Ottawa's own Brett Kelly. And we have a special treat for our audience. You've brought along the trailer for the film that we'll be watching in just a moment.
And stay tuned after the trailer for our interview with our featured artist of the week, Fabian Paquette-Grimes.
Finally, a movie with splendor, class, spectacle.
Zombies! You are now implying that you can teach this undead zombie how to become a proper lady. I'll bet you all the expenses of the experiment you can't do it.
I don't know how we're going to treat her for this mania. All she ever wants is brains.
I'll make a duchess out of this draggle-tailed carnivorous gutter snipe.
It's a wager.
What's to become of me? For I'm just a zombie who knows what she wants. I want to be loved.
The rain in Spain stays mainly in the...
Brains.
My Fair Zombie.
All right, today we have the pleasure of welcoming in the studio Fabian Paquette-Grimes. And Fabian, welcome.
Welcome, Fabian. You're our featured artist of the week.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course.
So you're a beatboxer.
Yeah, I am. Just kind of self-taught. Just not really. Yeah, I just got into it and fell in love with it. Kind of quit like 17 times approximately, and then came back every time. It's an addiction.
So how did you get started with beatboxing?
It was a friend of mine. His name was Donnie in high school, and he came in and he was scratching. And scratching is it's kind of like the crab scratch, like a kind of thing. It sounds like DJs, and I was just blown away. And he said, of course I inquired, and he said, man, you got to check out anything by this guy named Razel. And I did, and that's started it. I'm not even really much of a beatboxer as much as I am a beatbox junkie. It's pretty, you can't stop. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's amazing what you can do. I mean, we have a clip a little later on to watching your performance, and it's really amazing what you can do. So hats off to you, because I have a lot of talents, but that's not one of them.
Speaking of talents, I hear that you actually participated in and got a little bit far in Canada's Got Talent.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I went through round after round. I don't know how many rounds, probably like 3 or 4. And after all the interviews and so on, went on stage, did the whole shtick. They passed me through standing O. The crowds are great, by the way. Don't let any of the editing fool you. And I went on to what they call the non-performance round, and I didn't go on beyond that because like my mom loves me, and I go to college, and I didn't grow up on the streets, so they couldn't make a show out of me. They said top 200 in Canada.
That's
really
good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
That's excellent.
It was fun anyway. It was a good experience.
So it was a good experience all around, and did you make any connections through that, or?
Not really. There's a lot of fun times that were had, and you meet some people and you have good times, but everyone was from so many different parts of Canada. It was definitely just sort of a passing conglomerate of talented people. It was a lot of fun. It was a good time.
So now you're currently in school, correct?
I am. Yeah.
So what are you studying? What are your plans for the future?
I'm studying television broadcasting, and growing up, I traveled a lot, and I couldn't really narrow down a specific job per se. Like I had many, but wasn't held by any. Nothing really caught my attention. So television broadcasting seemed to be a logical progression. I'm really into theater. It's TV, media, all that jazz has really kind of kept me going. And that's my plan for the future, is really just to finish this course and continue the way I'm going. I'm already working in the field and just making movies with certain local guys, some CBC stuff, and hoping to go from there. I mean, I'm open to anything, really.
Excellent.
Now, I
Excellent.
understand that you also do a lot of traveling, or you've got the travel bug.
Yeah, totally.
Now, you've participated in a lot of youth programs as well when it comes to traveling, like Kitimavik and Canada World Youth.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
The late Kitimavik, R.I.P. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kitimavik was a really good experience. It taught me more. It taught me more about bureaucracies than anything. There was lots that it promised and lots that I went for, and I kind of had to make that happen, in a sense that when you got there, people in offices made rules that really didn't apply to the program itself. It was very hindering, and a lot of people recognized that in the program. But it was like super beneficial. I learned so much from that program. Like personal skills just went through the roof. Everything was really good because of those challenges. And I had a football scholarship that I had to turn down because of health problems. I started playing football when I was 7, flat-footed, took away the cartilage under my kneecap. So I didn't pass physical. So when I got accepted to Kitimavik, I just hit the ground running, and nothing was gonna turn me away from it. And I learned so much, and I met so many good people, and that started it. Like, first plane I ever got on, scared out of my mind, never left Ottawa before in my semi-adult years, later years, teen years. And that was it. You started identifying comfort zones, and you never looked back. I went to Brazil, lived in Brazil, across Canada twice, went through the States, 2 volunteer programs, almost went up north, but then I started going to college, so that changed everything. But yeah, I tried not to travel too much because I'll never come back. Never.
So I understand, as I mentioned earlier, we have a clip, so why don't we go to that? So here's the clip.
Fair enough, all right. I'm just a bachelor, looking for a partner, someone who knows how to pray, without even falling off. Gonna be compatible, go, and take me to my limits, and girl, when I'm freaking you, come, I promise you won't wanna get off. You know you like it. Push me, just touch me, so I can get my satisfaction. Push me, just touch me, so I can get my satisfaction. I am Iron Man. I can't Iron Man.
Wow, Fabian, that was really awesome.
Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
that was so
Wow.
cool. I'm always impressed at all the things that you can do with your mouth. Like that's pretty crazy.
Always trying to polish it. There's always something better I could do on it.
Of
so
course.
Hopefully that worked out.
Now, I understand that sometimes you give beatboxing away as a gift.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is true. Traveling and beatboxing have been very good companions. I've found out in my time here, and this one time specifically, we were on a beach in BC late at night. Illegal campfires, but it happens constantly. It's totally, as long as you're not an idiot, you never get shut down, right? And so there we are. After thinking these guys were disposing of illegal goods, if you will, from the trunk, we found out they were just bringing wood down to the beach, and we befriended them. We had a great time. They were ping pong players from Pakistan representing Team Canada. One owned a corner store. It was ridiculous. And they kept giving us stuff, and they had the fire going, and they give us sunflower seeds and whatever they were cooking, and it was great. And one guy said, like, what can we give them? And I didn't have any idea, and my buddy Jimmy said, like, Fabian, beatbox for him. So I did, and by the end of it, he was just so impressed, especially the harmonica bit. He just looked at me and he's like, Fabian, you get 5 potatoes. And he started cooking it all, and I was like, no, it's a gift. And that was one of the many times I've given it as something to give back. It's been really neat. I've kind of played with that idea of beatboxing as a gift.
Well, it's such a unique thing to offer someone. I mean, it's something they'll always remember. Obviously, they'll go back to wherever they were from, and they'll say, "Hey, this guy, he was amazing."
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also great for you because you get known for your art form. And speaking of art form, I understand you're also a musician.
Yes, I would classify myself as more like, I would say I'm an artist who, like, I'm a beatboxer per se, and I'll act as well, and I'll do other things, but musically speaking, I'm a beatboxer. So accompanying beatboxing is instruments in my world. So I'll do it. I have small stints rather. There it is. That I'll do it to like a piano. I'll do it to a guitar. I'll rock the harmonica. I'm working on like some wind flute kind of stuff. So it's like musician to accompany beatboxing is kind of where I go with it, and I just love beatboxing. So as long as it can be incorporated in with some rhythm, then I could be considered a musician for sure.
Excellent.
Cool. And how would you like to get more involved in the music scene?
Man, if I would work with anybody. If somebody has any sort of passion in the field, if they're in an a cappella group, if they're a brass instrument, oh God, I'd love to work with a brass group. And I'll work with anybody at any time. If I can go solo, I'll go solo. That's what I've done my whole career, really, until I worked with a band called the Peptides. Fantastic band. They're amazingly talented. You got to check them out. And I worked with them, and that was my first group experience, and it was amazing. I would love to get into any scene that opens up, for sure.
So any musicians or any groups out there listening to this podcast, this is the guy to get, because you've seen from the clip, he's excellent. So how would they get in touch with you?
Send me an email. I check my emails all the time. It's Fabian Paquette-Grimes at gmail.com.
Okay, we'll put that up on the screen.
Please do.
Fabian P. Grimes at
gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Fabian Paquette-Grimes, beatboxer extraordinaire, it's been a pleasure having you in the studio today. Please come back anytime. It's really been a treat having you here with us today.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, guys.
That's wonderful. And again, what was that email address that we could contact you through?
It's FabianPGrimes at gmail.com. So
Perfect.
Anybody go for it. I check that thing all the time.
Excellent.
Awesome. So that wraps up our interview with our featured artist of the week. And stay tuned for What's the Buzz?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
What's the Buzz?
And this week on What's the Buzz, if you want to have some fun and if you want a taste of Africa, join in the fun at the Ottawa African Festival happening September 6th to the 8th at Queen Juliana Park.
The operatic masterpiece Carmen will be showing at the NAC from September 7th until the 14th. Check out the NAC box office for tickets starting at $25.
At 6 p.m. on September the 11th, the Brook Street Hotel in Canada will be hosting the Lumiere Charity Gala. Now, this is an event that raises money for cancer research and lots of other worthwhile causes. Now, there will be live jazz, 4-star cuisine, and a fireworks show, and the tickets start at $150.
Also, Ottawa Fashion Week kicks off. It's going from September 13th until the 15th at the Hilton Lac Leamy. Check out ottawafashionweek.ca for more information on the designers taking part, as well as to buy tickets for the show.
The fabulous singer-songwriter Sarah Brightman will be performing in her Dreamcatcher tour. Now, she's coming to the Canadian Tire Centre on September the 14th, and the show starts at 7 p.m.
She's really great in person.
She's amazing.
She really is. And for those of you who remember little Aaron Carter, he's Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys' little brother. He's going to be performing on, the 17th of September at Zayfod's, along with his special guest, Alexis Bedini. And they're performing their after-party tour. That's going to be kicking off at 9 p.m.
Now, if you haven't had a chance to see him before, he is amazing on stage. The classic English comedian John Cleese will be appearing for possibly the last time in the See Me Before I Die tour, which is happening at the NAC on September the 19th. The show starts at 7 p.m. and the tickets are $87.75, and they're available either at the NAC box office or at Ticketmasters.com.
And finally, as mentioned previously by our friends Miss Helvetica Bold and Rhapsody Blue, their fundraising event, Titties for Me?
Titties for you, titties for Kitty!
And so it's Titties for Kitties too, and that's happening on September 20th, starting at 8 p.m. at Zayfod's. You can come on by and help raise some money for some great causes, the Westminster Pet Sanctuary, as well as Hopeful Hearts Dog Rescue.
Now, if you have a project that you'd like to promote, or if you'd like to be a part of our talent roster, come on down and audition at MJM Epic Productions. We'd love to see you, and it would be great for you to be a part of all the great projects that we have happening right now.
You might even get the chance to be our featured artist of the week on our show, the Double EP. So yeah, just drop us a line at info@mjmepics.com for more information.
We had a great time today in the studio chatting with Lauren Sevenchick and Barry Cager from My Fair Zombie, a film directed by local boy Brett Kelly. And just a reminder that it has its world premiere at Comicon in Montreal on September the 14th, so make sure you take a chance and go out there and catch it, because it's a really great project put together by some local folks, which is always nice. And we also had the pleasure of meeting our beatboxer, Fabian Paquette-Grimes, a great guy, lots of talent, and we wish him lots of luck.
Join us next time when we'll be interviewing Jody Hawk and Taya Nikolic from the Crystal Basement Comedy Group, as well as our featured artist of the week, The Love Machine.
The Love Machine. I like that.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds like a lot of fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The address should be on the screen. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook.
And also, don't forget to leave some comments down below, too. We love to hear what exactly you like about our show, as well as find out who you want to see on future episodes. I'm Kitty Kavaniaki.
And I'm Denis de Laviolette, and that's it for the Double EP.
Catch you next time.